Hello everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 25 of Season 10 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, a.k.a. ThrashManiac99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Southern 500 presented by Bojangles here at Darlington Raceway. We're about to go 37 laps of racing here at this historic track, where most of the cars in the field are running retro throwback paint schemes. Excuse me. Apologize for that. But before we take a look at the lineup, let's look at how the points look coming into the race tonight. So, top 10 in points. Michael Norman has a huge points lead going into the race tonight. Leads by 46 points over Tim Walsh. And Michael Norman has already clinched himself a spot in the chase via points. Tim Walsh second. Third is Matt Skoenberger. Fourth, Austin Mongold. Fifth, Steven Guerrero. Sixth, Pichu London. Seventh, Jesse Setti. Eighth, Dylan Young. Ninth, Charles Sanford. And 10th, Joshua Collard. Rest of the top 20 include Matt McIntyre, Anthony McCrory, Carson Gum, Tanner Sullivan, Sean Galligan, Kyle Matthews, Dylan Thoreau, Johnny Gardner, Trent Dunham, and David Rivera. Right now, if we had the wild card list ready, it would be Connor Morgan and Matt McIntyre. Connor Morgan for having 2 wins, but outside the top 10, but in the top 30, and Matt McIntyre for being the highest outside the top 10 with a victory. But a lot of that could change here tonight as well as next week at Richmond. So, pretty much it's do or die now at this point for these drivers. Starting in the last row is Austin Mongold, Matt McIntyre. Starting in the top 10, Nick Alton is on the pole. Next to him is Sean Galligan. Row 2 is Kev Shearer and Jessica Sheldon. Row 3 is Anthony Ritchie and Joshua Collard. Row 4, Michael Norman, Chase Oliver. And then row 5, Matt Skoenberger and James Qualls. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Southern 500 at Darlington.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there you have it, folks. But also looking at the points to see if anybody else has truly clinched a spot in the chase via points. I think Tim Walsh has clinched himself a spot as well, because he comes in this race about 102 points ahead of 11th, so he has a 2-race advantage over the 11th spot in points, so he's locked in. Matt Skoenberger is locked in via points because he is 95 points out. Now, 4th through 11th, or however close it is between 4th back on to 14th or so, is up for grabs because anything can happen in these next 2 races. You could see Matt McIntyre win the race 2 races in a row, and Austin Mongold finishes dead last 2 weeks in a row. But ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing. Excuse me. Sean Galligan somehow led that lap by running the high lane, but Nick Alton's still holding on strong on the bottom. So it almost seems like any line can really work as long as you get a big run up off the corners in order for that to happen. But Galligan gets into the wall. That's going to cost a win from him right there. I don't think he can catch back up to that. Nick Alton leads that lap, and now Kev Shearer is now to the front, and Anthony Ritchie's right there, and so is also Michael Norman trying to go for 2 wins in a row. He won last week at Bristol. He's wanting to get another win to get 3 wins this season before the chase even starts, and now Kev Shearer gets the wall. We're going to be seeing that a lot, guys getting the Darlington stripe, and it costs him a lot of time. Oh, a hard hit for Matt Skoenberger. Holy cow. Oh no, he comes back up and he collects more cars. Oh, and it's a huge wreck, and oh my goodness, who is that on top of the wall? Looks like McCrory went upside down. Cittadino looked like he nailed the wall pretty hard. Contact with Pichu London Jesse Setti right there. Holy cow. All that started from probably one of the most vicious hits I think I have ever seen. Carson Scott was in it. Dylan Thoreau was in it. Cody Lamas was involved. Chase Oliver and Matt Skoenberger were the first 2 cars I saw get involved or get sent around. Holy cow, that was just brutal. Seth Cole was in there. Michael Norman leads, but let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Darlington. Oh my goodness. Well, this wreck started when the 12 got up into the wall, and then right off of turn 4, Chase Oliver's going to get tight and get up into his teammate Matt Skoenberger, and right there, holy cow. Once that car hit hard, it grabbed the wall, and then Chase Oliver was right there, and that sent the 80 car spinning like a top, and then he spins again after a hard hit coming back up into traffic in front of Carson Scott, it looked like, who he got hit by. So let's look at how fast the 80 was going whenever he hit the wall. It's almost like he gained speed. He went about 196 miles per hour into that safer barrier. Holy cow. And then Chase Oliver actually comes back up in front of traffic. Oh, Charles Sanford gets involved, but I think he's going to be okay. But I'm trying to see who he also really hit to really get things going. Oh, it was Pichu London. Man, oh man, that was hard hits. Galligan got involved. Steven Guerrero was in there. Oh my goodness, who was out on top of the wall? And then right there was a big hit from Jesse Setti. Oh man, oh, it was Carson Scott who went up into the fence. And it also sent the 61 of McCrory upside down. And then right there was the big hit from Pichu London into Seth Cole. That sent Seth Cole's car up on 2 wheels. Just all the carnage that took place in there. Now let's see how in the world John Cittadino got involved in this one. Let's watch from helicopter view. Oh, it's going to be from when the 80 comes back up on the track. Right there, it was that instant hit, and it sent that car into a smoke screen. Oh, it was right there, a hit from Kyle Matthews into Carson Scott that sent the car up on top of the wall and into the catch fence. That's what happened. But holy cow, this is... That hit the 80 car took. Man, that 80 car took 3 hard hits. 1 from in the inside wall, and then 2 from coming back out into traffic. But let's go ahead and take you back to the restart here at Darlington. Well, after that last caution, we have 10 cars out of the race, and they include Charles Sanford, Seth Cole, Dylan Thoreau, Cody Lamas, Chase Oliver, Matt Skoenberger, Anthony McCrory, Carson Scott, John Cittadino, and Pichu London. Tough break for a lot of guys that were in the top 10 in points and are either going to be on the very edge of sanity or are going to be out of the top 10. But Michael Norman is your race leader. 2nd is Anthony Ritchie. 3rd is Jessica Shelton. 4th, Nick Alton. 5th, James Qualls. 6th, David Rivera. 7th, Joshua Collard. 8th, Dorian Facepuncher. 9th, John Arndt. 10th, Dylan Young. 11th is James Richardson. 12th, Carson Gum. 13th, Kev Shearer. 14th, Tanner Sullivan. 15th, Jonathan Zorleen. 16th, Blaine Keys. 17th, Daniel Olson. 18th, Matt McIntyre. 19th, Caleb Farrell. 20th, Joseph Strigley. And then it's Tim Walsh, Trent Dunham, Connor Morgan, Steven Guerrero, Jesse Setti, Austin Mongol, Dylan Poteet, Chris Washer, Johnny Gardner, Sean Galligan, Kyle Matthews, and Preston Plord. Green flag is back out, and Michael Norman got off to a fantastic restart. He's got a big gap now between himself and the 5 of Anthony Ritchie. Still got a long way to go, so anything can still happen here in this race. Although Anthony Ritchie's got a huge run on the 3 car, he might be trying to go for the lead here momentarily. Anthony Ritchie running a retro Kellogg's car. Kind of based off of the old Terry Labonte number 5. Oh, Jessica Sheldon into the wall. That's going to take away her chances of winning tonight. That would have been special for her to get her second win this season here at her home state track of Darlington. That would have been something cool. Doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight. Michael Norman still leading the way over the 5 of Anthony Ritchie, as we get a nice little view of the action going on here. And look at James Qualls. He's on the move to try to get up there. So is David Rivera, Joshua Collard. It's like the top 5 have kind of broken away from everybody else just by a tad bit. James Qualls trying to go for his first ever Walmart Cup Series win, to my knowledge. But now we might have a battle for the lead, as here comes Ritchie with a run to the inside of Norman. First time since the beginning of the race that we have a change for the lead. Anthony Ritchie now up to the front. But James Qualls has now got the inside of the 3, but he's going to fall in line behind the 5. As Michael Norman running up dangerously high. Anthony Ritchie's going to lead this lap, but James Qualls might have a run on him. Oh, can he make it work? Not quite just yet. But maybe now, here off of 2, now he's got a nose underneath of the 5. David Rivera up there, Joshua Collard. We got, oh, and Ritchie into the wall. Norman gets slowed up, and whoa, we almost had a spin with Nick Alton, who was the pole sitter earlier. Holy cow, that was a close call. But that's going to end up costing the 3 car quite a good amount of spots. And now James Qualls leads the way here at Darlington. But David Rivera is right there on his back bumper. David Rivera comes into this race 20th in points. He's been kind of falling a little bit. He's looking to try to win tonight in order to throw his name into the wild card hat. But he would love to also win next week at Richmond as well as tonight in order to get a for sure wild card spot potentially. But now the leaders are catching the slower machine of Steven Guerrero, who is in the top 5 in points coming into tonight's race. So what's going to happen here? Oh, the top 4 got held up, and now it's David Rivera getting held up in a big way. Oh, they need to be careful around that 8 car. Oh man, they were nearly 3 wide. Carson Gum nearly made it 3 wide on David Rivera and Steven Guerrero right there. Holy cow. As we continue to watch out for everything going on up here at the front of the field. James Qualls got passed for the lead right there, as here comes Joshua Collard, and Michael Norman's now back up here into the picture again. How in the world did he get back up here in the top 2? Collard trying to go for his first win of the season, and he comes into this race top 10 in points. Norman now with the run on the inside, but now Collard gets the wall. Oh, and he nearly came down into James Richardson. That would have been a big problem for the 43. As Michael Norman has the lead once again. Qualls in second with Gum third, Rivera fourth. James Richardson right now the highest rookie in the field in the 5th position. As we look around on things, I think the next car that the leaders would end up catching here momentarily is Joseph Strigley in the 45, because he's slowing off the pace after that last wreck. Qualls is about to get... Oh, he gets into the wall too. That's going to cost him a lot of spots. Same with Tanner Sullivan, who got the wall just now. And that's going to help bring Carson Gum, David Rivera to try to battle with Michael Norman. But now Norman's slowly, but now catching the 45 of Joseph Strigley. He's going to go down low to make the move underneath. Oh, but Carson Gum gets held up a little bit. But if Michael Norman was to catch up to any more cars, it would be these next four up here. Dylan Poteet, Preston Plord, Kyle Matthews, Jesse Setti, because they're a tad bit off the pace as well after that crash. Whoa, and Carson Gum gets the wall. That's going to cost him a lot of spots right there. Now David Rivera's back into second place. Look at this. Top 5 is 2 Chevys and 3 Fords, but all for different teams. No teammates, so to speak. Though Yates Racing and Roush Racing are affiliates together because of their engine program, so they're technically teammates. But now Richardson gets into the wall, and here comes Dylan Young with a run to the inside of David Rivera, as we now got 14 laps to go here in the Southern 500, and Michael Norman has been the dominant car all night. Although they are going to probably at some point catch up to these 4 cars, and then once that happens, it's going to be mayhem. I can guarantee that. And David Rivera gets the wall. Carson Gum into the wall again. So now the field's kind of gone into a separation mode, as it's just top 4 now battling. Norman, Young, Ritchie, and McIntyre. Matt McIntyre's in the picture. He could go for win number 2 in hopes to get himself into the top 10 in points potentially. But Dylan Young's going to get the wall too. So now it's just the top 3. But you can tell the 3 has got his eyes on those 4 cars in front of him. Matthews, Plord, Setti, and Poteet. And then once he gets to those 4... and if those 4 are going to be racing double wide, then anything can happen up here at the front. And now Anthony Ritchie's into the wall, so now it's just the top 2 left battling for the lead. Norman and McIntyre, and Norman is starting to catch those 4 slower cars in front of him. And then we'll see if the 24 has anything for the 3. Now the 3 has caught the 94 and now is going to try and go on by. But Matt McIntyre's got a huge run on the 3. He's going to try and make something work here in just a few moments. Matt McIntyre, who won back at Michigan just a couple weeks ago, trying to go for his 2nd of the season. And here he comes with a run to the inside of the 3. This could be big, as Michael Norman still hanging on up on the high lane, and he got a run up off the corner, but I think Matt McIntyre, yeah, he did lead that lap. But now they're both getting held up by slower cars, and the caution is out. Wonder what it was for. Oh, it's Joseph Strigley involved. Oh my goodness! Huge barrel roll for Carson Gum. Dylan Young, Dorian Facepuncher were involved. Oh my word. But Matt McIntyre gets the lead, but now that's going to bring everybody else back up to these guys. But I think the top 2 is going to have 3 or so cars in between 2nd and 3rd place. So I don't know what can happen, but oh my goodness, that looked like a scary wreck that just happened. But let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the 2nd time tonight here in the Southern 500 at Darlington. So this wreck started after Anthony Ritchie got the wall. It's basically just like what happened with Chase Oliver, Matt Schoenberger. Strigley gets up into Dylan Young, and wow, hard hit, and that sends the 2. And the 2, he's going to start going for barrel rolls right here, and oh my goodness, he's going to go for a lot. But how does the 32 and the 62 get involved? Oh my goodness, he's going to barrel roll right in front of everybody. Holy cow. And after that hit, that sends the 32 car into a barrel roll. The 62 hits the 2 car hard. Oh my goodness, that's probably one of the scariest wrecks I think I have ever witnessed in the history of Walmart Cup. Oh my god. Look at the carnage from this one. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of cars, but just how it happened. Watch this. Dylan Young hit that wall at about 189 miles an hour, so it wasn't as hard of a hit as Schoenberger's was, but just the fact that he's barrel rolling so much, and he's going to barrel roll right back up into traffic. Right there, a huge hit from Carson Gum that ends up sending the 32 car into a wild barrel roll of his own. Dorian Facepuncher, who had no reaction time, gets into the wreckage as well, but oh my god. Kev Shearer actually got involved in there too. Oh my gosh. Let's count the amount of barrel rolls both the 32 and the 2 ended up taking. So we're going to look at Dylan Young's first, because this is how it all began. Right there, let's see, he goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he went over 13 times. That was still quite a lot, but now, what about Carson Gum's barrel rolls here? I don't think it was quite as much, but there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he barrel rolled 8 times, but still, that's a lot. But oh my goodness, we gotta take a couple of onboards on this one. Holy cow. On board with Dorian Facepuncher, and you're going to see up ahead, there's where the wreck starts, but watch the hit he's going to give to the 2 car. Wham! He had nowhere to go, and then right there he gets hit by Shelton and Shearer right there. Well, after that last caution, we have 4 more cars out of the race, and they include Dylan Young, Dorian Facepuncher, Carson Gum, and Joseph Strigley. We got 4 cars a lap down, Plord, Setti, Matthews, and Guerrero, but it's going to be 4 laps to go when we get back to the line, so it's going to be a 4-lap dash to the finish. Matt McIntyre leader, 2nd Michael Norman, 3rd Daniel Olson, 4th Jonathan Zorline, 5th Joshua Collard, 6th James Richardson, 7th Tanner Sullivan, 8th James Qualls, 9th David Rivera, 10th Anthony Ritchie. 11th is Caleb Farrell, 12th is John Arndt, 13th Trent Dunham, 14th Jessica Sheldon, 15th Kev Shearer, 16th Tim Walsh, 17th Blaine Keys, 18th Connor Morgan, 19th Nick Alton, 20th Chris Washer, 21st Johnny Gardner, 22nd Sean Galligan, 23rd is Austin Mongold, 24th Dylan Poteet. Green flag is waving. 4 laps to go here in the Southern 500, and of course you got those 4 lap machines. But I'm thinking the win here is going to come down to one of these 2, Matt McIntyre or Michael Norman, and Norman already with a run to the inside of the 24. Let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, Matt McIntyre into the wall. I think that's going to seal the deal right there. That's going to be the win, I think, for the Michael Norman, because everybody else is going to be a second or more back behind him. So that just pretty much sealed the deal right there. Michael Norman, I think, has got this race in the bag, so he's going to get 2 in a row this time this season, and his 3rd win of the season. Well, that is unless he screws up and causes something. But also you got lap traffic in front of both lanes, and now Norman's got a 1.6 second lead over Daniel Olson, according to the scoring last time by. But yeah, as we are coming to the stripe for the white flag is out for Michael Norman. Margin of the lead now, 1.8 seconds. As long as Norman doesn't overdrive a corner and get into the wall, he should be in good hands to win this race. Norman hitting his marks pretty well. Coming out of turn 4, it's going to be official. Checkered flag. Michael Norman wins the Southern 500 at Darlington to get his 2nd straight win, 3rd of the season. Domination by the 3-car of Michael Norman going into our regular season finale at Richmond next week. But let's look at the rest of the results. Jonathan Zorline comes out with a great finish in 2nd. Highest finishing rookie, Daniel Olson in 3rd. Joshua Collard gets a much-needed run of 4th to keep himself in the top 10. And James Richardson with a solid 5th place run. Great 6th place finish for Tanner Sullivan. Solid 7th for David Rivera. 8th place for Anthony Ritchie. Solid 9th for Caleb Farrell. And a great run in 10th for James Qualls. The rest of the top 20 was Matt McIntyre, Trent Dunham, John Arndt, Connor Morgan, Blaine Keys, Tim Walsh, Nick Alton, Chris Washer, Jessica Shelton, Johnny Gardner, Sean Galligan, Austin Mongold, Kev Sheeran, Dylan Poteet. The next 4 cars finished a lap down. Jesse Setti, Preston Plord, Kyle Matthews, Steven Guerrero. Everybody else was out of the race after our 2 cautions that came out. Dylan Young, Dorian Facepuncher, Carson Gum, Joseph Strigley, Charles Sanford, Seth Cole, Dylan Thoreau, Cody Lamas, Chase Oliver, Matt Skoenberger, Anthony McCrory, Carson Scott, John Cittadino, and Pichu London. Well, that does it for our coverage tonight here at Darlington. We got 1 points race left until the chase, and it's the Chevy Revolution 400 next week at Richmond, where we will determine the main drivers for the chase. But then we got the LCQ, the short LCQ race at Dragonet to determine the very final spot. But until then, here are your points, rookie points, and results going into next week at Richmond. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.